Coming to you live and direct from Now Valley Entertainment.
What's up, boxing fans? This is TBE Boxing back at you again. As you know from our last episode, recently the Type 4 model Terminator, aka Kell book, was unveiled to the world from the UK by the technical wizards at the Terminator production facility, also known as Ingles Gym, led by master trainer and chief technical wizard Dominic Ingle. At the same time, here in the USA, deep in the heart of Texas, at the School for Warriors, master trainer Derek James, who trains young guns such as Jamel and Jamal Charlo, has been training his latest prodigy, the young warrior and knockout specialist known as Errol the Truth Spence. In 2 weeks, this young warrior, this Texas gunslinger, Errol the Truth Spence, will travel to the UK, aka the Dark Tower, to do battle with the master level technician, ultimate warrior, and current world champion Kell the Terminator Brook, in a war for supremacy at the welterweight division. Make no mistake about it, this will be the mother of all wars at the welterweight division. So on May 27, 2017, this battle for supremacy between these two warriors will be Judgment Day. Believe me when I say you don't want to miss this one. Alright people, so let's talk some boxing now. So the fight is coming up. It's in less than 2 weeks. It's kind of funny that Errol Spence has been fighting for quite a while now. He has not been able to get a fight with any of the top people in the welterweight division, because basically it looks like most of the people are ducking him. There's no other way to say it. I put out a video called Duck Season. I think take a look at that video and you'll see what I'm talking about in terms of no one wanting to fight Errol Spence. Because for example, they asked Sean Porter's dad, Kenny Porter, would he be willing to fight Errol Spence? Basically, he went around the bush and he talked about Floyd Mayweather. Just because Floyd Mayweather say something don't mean it has to happen, and this and that, and just a whole bunch of talk and not really saying much. Basically was trying to say that Errol Spence wasn't ready for Sean. He was not the level of Sean Porter. Now during that interview, I forgot who was the interviewer, but during the interview you might have noticed the camera wobbling a little bit. But believe me, it wasn't because of the cameraman. It was Kenny Porter trembling, So that's what that was all about. And at the same time, someone recently also asked Sean Porter about fighting Errol Spence. And he basically said that the same thing, that Errol, he's looking, he's at a certain level and he's looking to fight fighters at another level and, this and that. And so his recent fight that he had was with Andre Berto. Now, these two guys, both Kenny Porter and Sean Porter, are claiming that Errol Spence is not their level. This is after he was beaten by Kell Brook and also Keith Thurman. So when these two same guys, Sean Porter and Kenny Porter, was asked if they think that Errol Spence will be able to go to England and beat Kell Brook, they both said yeah. So I'm kind of confused about that. Let me get this straight. So you're telling me that Kell Brook, who came to America, beat Sean Porter, Errol Spence is ready to fight him, but he's not ready to fight Sean Porter, who Kell Brook beat. I don't know about you guys, but that doesn't really make much sense to me. It just seems kind of backwards. So, basically I'm thinking, like I said before in my last video, they're kind of rushing Errol Spence, and I said the same thing in my Duck Season video as well. They're rushing Errol Spence to go to England to fight Kell Brook. And I think really the heart of it is that most of these guys are really looking for Errol Spence to lose no matter what they say, okay? I think they don't want to fight Errol Spence, whether it be Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, or any one of those welterweights. They don't really want to fight Errol Spence, so they're hoping, praying Errol Spence will go to England. He'll get beat by Kell Brook, which is probably what's going to happen, and then they won't have to fight him for some reason. Maybe that's how they're thinking. So I mean, you even have Kenny Porter say he's going to England to help Errol Spence beat Kell Brook. Well, I mean, if you're going to England to help Errol Spence beat Kell Brook, why couldn't you help your son Sean Porter to beat Kell Brook? I mean, I don't get it. That was your son. That's your blood. My thinking is that if you couldn't help Sean Porter, your own son, to beat Kell Brook, how are you going to help Errol Spence to beat Kell Brook? I just don't see that. Okay, I don't see it at all. So I mean, I don't know what Errol Spence is thinking, but I don't know. But I mean, it is what it is. If he's gonna let this guy come to the so-called quote unquote help him beat Kell Brook, and the same guy couldn't help his own son beat Kell Brook, I don't see it. But maybe he feels that. Maybe Kenny Porter feels that Errol Spence has the tools to beat Kell Brook. So my feeling is that, okay, if that's the case, if Errol Spence has the tools to beat Kell Brook, and you feel that as a trainer you can train him and help him beat Kell Brook, then he had the tools to beat Sean Porter as well. And that would be the reason why you wouldn't want to fight Errol Spence, not because you think that Sean Porter is above his level. How can he be above his level if you're going to help him beat Kell Brook? You're going to help Errol Spence beat Kell Brook, but you couldn't help your own son to beat Kell Brook. So if you feel that Errol Spence had the tools to beat Kell Brook, then he must have the tools to beat your son as well. So, it's kind of convoluted, but it is what it is. So this is the current state of affairs in the welterweight division right now. Okay, a lot of people ducking Errol Spence. I've said it before, I got a lot of respect for Sean Porter, because even though he lost a fight against Kell Brook, I gained a lot of respect for him just by watching him fight in that fight, because I saw he had certain skills and tenacity and come forward guy who's always coming forward, and he's giving it 100%. So I can't help but respect him. Okay, and to me, he had nothing to be ashamed of in that loss against Kell Brook, because he put up a hell of a he did a hell of a job. He put up a hell of a fight. So it is what it is. For some reason, and again, personally, I think he probably, from my perspective, I'm thinking that he could probably beat Errol Spence. It's debatable, but if I was asked to pick at the, from what I know about Errol Spence at this point in his career, I'm thinking that maybe Sean Porter could beat him. Maybe he can, maybe he can't, but that's what I would think. I don't know. Maybe his father don't think the same way. So anyway, this is what we're looking at in the welterweight division right now. A lot of people ducking Errol Spence. I talk about Errol Spence and Kell Brook fighting, and I'm on record as saying that Kell Brook is going to stop Errol Spence. Okay, but let's not. I don't want people to get it twisted, because, like I said, also I like Errol Spence and I have a lot of respect for him, both as a boxer and as a person. I don't know him personally, but I see the way he carries himself and I respect it. Okay, I respect him the way he carries himself in and out the ring. Okay, I gotta give it to Errol Spence. Okay, because he's going, for the biggest fight of his career, and he's going all the way to England, which many of these top 10 fighters here in the welterweight division would never do. Even the champions would never, even Keith Thurman would never do it for sure, would go to England to fight Kell Brook. They would never do it. And many of them is on record as saying they would never do it. They always make an excuse about judges. I mean, come on, man, this is just bullshit. I mean, it's ridiculous. So here is Errol Spence from out of nowhere. This kid, the biggest fight of his career so far, he's going all the way to England to fight Kell Brook, and he's not making no excuses. Okay, so you gotta respect that. I respect that to the max. I mean, I really respect him doing that. So you can't have nothing but respect for Errol Spence for doing that. Okay, so in that sense, I have a lot of respect for him for doing this. And granted, I'm thinking that he's gonna get stopped, but you can't. He got the balls of an elephant. He's actually going there to do it. And the way he's carrying himself, and the way you look at him and you see him, and the way he talks, he's not showing any fear whatsoever. He's showing, he has nothing but confidence in himself, and I respect that as well. It's gonna be a hell of a fight, I believe. Okay, I think he's gonna go over there and give it his all, and so I'm looking forward to the fight. Now, Kell Brook has been champion for quite a while. And a lot of people say, well, hey, this guy's been champion for all this time. You never fought anybody, this, that, and the other. But let's be real about that. Okay, let's talk about that for a minute. Now, have anyone ever heard anyone from the USA, any of the champions, any of the top 10 people call out Kell Brook? People didn't even know who Kell Brook was until he fought Sean Porter. Nobody knew who he was. He was in the top 10 for a while. Nobody knew who Kell Brook was because nobody would call him out. Okay, nobody wanted to fight him. And believe you me, I mean, after he fought Sean Porter, that made it even worse. You think, okay, he fought Sean Porter. He came from the UK. He came over here to America in the backyard of Sean Porter. He took the title and took it back to England. You would think that everybody would be calling him out and say, yeah, we want the title back in America. You know, all these so-called patriots, you know, I was talking about So what happened? Nobody called this man out. They went even deeper into hiding. Nobody wanted to fight this guy, okay? And then they claimed that, oh, he's not fighting anybody. Well, if he's not fighting anybody, then you should be able to go over there and take the title from him because he's not fighting anybody. So why not call him out? You know, make an offer, go over there and fight him. But it wasn't happening. Everybody's ducking this guy. Okay, everybody is ducking Kell Brook. They've been doing it for years. Okay, and just the mention of his name send them running and hiding. Okay, so it's like the Candyman. They don't want to say his name 1 or 2 or 3 times because he might appear. Okay, so these guys, every time they hear Kell Brook's name, they start scurrying all over the place. So these guys, I mean, it's a joke. They just asked Keith Thurman recently if he would fight the winner of the Errol Spence Kell Brook fight. He made up, well, not anytime right now, anytime soon, maybe in a couple of years, whatever. I mean, come on. That would be a big fight in the UK. But again, nobody wants to fight Kell Brook, but they're trying to claim that Kell Brook is not fighting anybody. He's not fighting anybody because all you guys are ducking him. It's just that simple, just like you ducking Errol Spence. Here it is, a young guy, Errol Spence, the only one out of all of these guys who, Errol Spence only have, 21 fights? Okay? And he's taking it upon himself to go all the way to England to fight Kell Brook. Simply because nobody else in America wants to fight Kell Brook, and they're making all kinds of excuses, this, that, and the other. So after the Sean Porter fight, they definitely don't want to fight him, because they saw what he can do. And then, even though he lost, I mean, I wouldn't even really call it a loss. It's a technical stoppage, even, against Triple G, the so-called baddest man on the planet. Believe you me, when they saw that, they definitely didn't want to fight Kell Brook after that. Okay, so you really got to give it to Errol Spence. I got to give it to the guy for taking this fight and for going to England to battle it out with the Terminator. I mean, I'm thinking that he's going to lose, but it is what it is, you still got to give him his props, and I'm definitely going to give him his props, okay? And so I'm looking forward to the fight. The world seems to be looking forward to the fight. It seems like this fight is going to be the biggest fight in 2017. So, that's all I have right now. So you guys let me know what you think. Make sure you subscribe. This is TBE Boxing. I'm out.